Hi everyone, hope you're all doing great. Welcome back to another video. First of all, let me wish you all a happy 79th Independence Day. It required a lot of sacrifice from a lot of independence fighters to get us the freedom that we enjoy today. Today what we are going to discuss is a fund that I identified after looking at a lot of small cap growth funds. So I'll walk you through all the details. Take this information and make sure to make your own analysis, as we are not SEBI registered. If it fits your risk profile, you can take investment decisions accordingly. Just in case, if you're listening to me for the first time, my name is Manoj and I'm a trend follower trading in the market since 2009 and 10. And with that, I worked with a few world banks in credit risk, market risk and liquidity risk. These are the core operations of a banking system. So this is my profile. Let's get on with the video today. First of all, what is very important about this is because the stocks that the fund have. Before we move on to the stocks that the fund really have, one other important information that I want to discuss is the fund has been new. It's been launched 9 months back, and in the last 9 months there is no return in the fund at all. That is very important thing to know. This is because of the market conditions. If you look at the market conditions for the last 1 to 1.5 years, there has not been big returns because of the fact that USD has been going up. FIIs in real terms, they are not making any money. For example, let me show you this example, just a small mathematics. Now let us take this for an example, right? Nifty in the last 10 years, 1 decade, has given 10% return, right? So this is the Nifty returns. Now what is the inflation that India have? India have a 6% inflation. That means real return on top of any investment that anyone is making in India is 4%. Imagine this case that the currency is actually losing about 5% year on year. So what is the real number is 10 minus 6, which is the inflation, and minus another 5, which is the currency depreciation, which no one cannot agree no matter what you discuss or what you debate. Let's suppose if you are an FI, right? So you are spending more INR to get USD. One of the biggest reasons FIIs are leaving the country, and there is an article yesterday also that India is one of the least preferred markets on all of Asia when it comes to FIIs investment. And at the same time, Trump is also threatening that he is going to stop FDI investments into India. If all of that happens, it is going to be a really bad image in the world market. If you take the Indian markets, they will simply say it's a tax terrorist country, there's no real returns, currency depreciation is really high. So these are all data, they cannot lie, right? So this is the data that we have in front of us. That is one of the main reasons that no mutual fund has given really good returns. But right, we don't know, markets can shift, things can shift, facts can change, political environments will change, policies will change. So keep that in mind. Historically, whenever things look really bad, things look really weak, that is when market has given the most returns. So we have to keep investing and then wait for that day. So that is where the most amount of money is made historically if you take out the numbers. Now coming back to the video, let me go to the stocks that the fund has. I'm not going to mention the fund. There are ways that you can invest differently, right? So that is what I'm going to explain next. First, what is the stocks that the fund has? Let me show you that. Now these are all the top 10 stocks that the fund have. Now why I have taken the top 10 stocks alone and not the entire list of 40-50 stocks is because these top 10 stocks makes up the 35% of the overall fund. Okay, if these stocks move, automatically the fund is going to do really well. And what happened in the last 1 year, the fund has not given any returns at all. Now let us take a look, right? Let us see how these stocks look technically on chart. But before that, if you want to duplicate this, you can actually duplicate this. You can create an account, you can just buy all these stocks in whatever proportionate you are okay. But again, we are not SEBI registered. That is the way that I will follow. When I started investing, I don't know where to go, who to ask. So what I have done is I have taken the best performing mutual fund. I see all the stocks that they have bought, and then I buy in the same proportionate. So there is one thing that I generally tell people: if you don't know anything, take a best performing fund, and whatever the stocks that you have bought that they have in their own portfolio, you can try to match that. That is one way of doing it. Second way, we are AMFI registered. If you want to know the funds based on your goals, we can always help you with your goals and suggest funds based on your goals. So that is the other way. Then the downside comes, right? So today they have these stocks in their list. Tomorrow this might change. Tomorrow they might just remove small finance bank, Jana small finance bank, and instead of that they can bring in some other company. So you have to keep looking at the fund all the time in order to match the performance. So that is the other downside of trying to match a mutual fund. Now let us go and check all these companies' technical details, how the stocks look in terms of the market mood. At the end of the day, no matter what these fundamental guru says, if the market thinks, if the stock is like premium, market tries to push up the stock no matter what the fundamental says. Generally, fundamentals is like after the fact, whatever we see, we read it. At least 6 months old is what we tend to read or see anywhere, right? All these channels, whatever they're discussing, go through the annual reports or do all the heavy lifting, but what we read and see is already 6 months old. The charts doesn't lie. There is one figure that doesn't lie about a stock market, it is the price of the stock. Of course, it tends to move between overvalued and undervalued, but it always tries to grab up the latest information about a company. Enough of the story, let's move on to the technical perspectives of these companies. The first company is Godfrey Phillips. You will not believe that this company I've been tracking since 100 rupees and I've been tracking since 2014-15. This is one of my go-to company and it has become a 100 bagger since my tracking point. Of course, I only have limited amount of money and then I cannot buy all the stocks. So that is why I put them on watch list and then it goes like, it runs up, then I'll wait for the retracement, I will not have money. So one or the other factor I've been tracking but I could not buy. Even the stocks that I buy and own in my own portfolio today, I believe that they have good potential, but then again, market mood is not good. Overall, entire market mood, Indian stock market is like very, very bad. So that is why all these stocks also have beaten up. I'm just waiting on those stocks. I've not sold anything from my portfolio. If you want to know my portfolio, I'll leave the link in the description. The stocks that I own, you can go and check that out. Of course, for your reference, don't take that as a buy call. So this is the first company. Let us check only the technical factor. Okay, so I'm gonna open the chart in here. What you see here is Polycap. What is stock name? Godfrey Phillips. It's a cigarette making company and it is one of the major competitor for ITC. Now always remember this, ever since a stock breaks out of a sound pattern. So this is what you see here is the wedge pattern. So this is wedge. There is a upside resistance and then there is a downside higher support. So that becomes a wedge and whenever it breaks out, this becomes automatically the next support zone. Why this support zone works is people are waiting for the stock to pull back and then enter. But then what happens is it breaks out, fear of missing out kicks in. That is why you see large candles. Once it breaks out, they think that okay, the stock is going to go up. They will chase the stock and buy it. That getting trapped in the short period. Okay. This happens with everyone. It happened to me also recently. I'll put that as a separate video. I lost about 48 lakhs trading futures in one of the stock by chasing the stock too high. I'm going to create a separate video that will be some helpful at least if you are trading futures. Now coming back, it's going to pull back and then it's going to take this as a support zone, then it's going to fly. Now what is happening here is the stock is in uncharted territory. This is the first time the stock ever hit like 11,000. Always don't go short here. If the stock offers futures, never ever short stocks around uncharted territory. They have the tendency to move very, very fast. If it breaks here, it tends to move in the cycles. The cycle is from here to here, from 4,000 to 7,000. The stock has moved 75% in one shot in the last trade. Again, if you take this, pulled back 5,000 to 9,000 almost, 40% it has moved up in one, not even 40%, 80% it has moved in one leg. So it breaks here. I don't say that it is going to move 40%, 60%, 80%, but it has the tendency to move the same leg from 8,000 to 9,000, from 9,000 to 11,000, whatever the percentage is. That is how the stock moves in legs. Coming by the fact, it should move somewhere to 12,500, pull back and then move based on the earnings also. Stock cannot simply move. Whatever the company's earnings, based on that, it tends to move higher and higher. So this is the first company on our list. And that is how the technical pattern is looking like. Moving on, the second company in the list is Garewar iTech Films. So this is the second company that the fund have, and you know why the fund now has not given big returns. There is a big pullback. The stock has actually fallen 40% to a point where it has taken the resistance. Of course, it is based on the earnings only. Now, to the naked eye, where will be the first resistance? First support. First support is going to be somewhere around the Trump's first tariff threat news. So this is where the Trump's first tariff threat has come. So here around 2650, 26 40, 50, somewhere in that range, it is going to take the first support zone. Why support zone work again? Markets remembers the past. Whoever has bought here, whoever has sold here, they are still waiting for the stock to hit that level in order to take the second time entry in fact. So markets, if I buy a stock at 100 rupees, sell at 150, the next time I'm trying to buy the stock is at 100 rupees only. So that is why supports and resistance really works in the market. Again, this is where the support zone is. Let's not go into the fundamentals too much because that will create a big video. I don't want to really spend too much of your time on those things. So this is the second company on our list, and they have the second highest holding in this company. It has pulled back very much. Moving on, the third company that they have in terms of weightage is CAMS, Computer Age Management Systems. CAMS has been moving lately and it is moving in a tight zone. So what happened is CAMS have futures. I used to trade futures in this and it has already trapped me twice. So it goes up and then it sells off based on the market mood. If you look at this picture to the naked eye, this has to move up. So that is how this chart pattern, based on the millions of samples that I have looked over my entire trading career, that is how it looks. But over the weekend, today Trump and Putin is going to talk, and if the talk fails, he's going to come and say I'm implementing 200%, 300%, as if it's going to impact India so much. India only exports about 20% of the overall exports to US, and it can always find another market. We don't need US at all, to be honest, if you ask me. That's my personal opinion. This guy is like too much bullying. Anyway, coming back, it's gonna go until the next resistance zone, which is 4125. Where is that? This is the range where the stock has been taking support and resistance over a long period of time. Here you see a support, here you see a support. It goes up, it comes back. From that range, it has been moving here and there. That is something like 300 points from up. If it moves 300 points, that is 8% up move from this point. Maybe it will have a good impact on the NAV of the fund. Because if you see, this is the third company that has the highest weightage in the fund. Moving on, the next company is Camlin Fine Sciences. Let us see how it looks on the chart. So this is the chart of Camlin Fine Services, the fourth biggest company in the fund in terms of size, and it has retraced from 300 rupees to 200 rupees, and now it has taken the support zone. So most of the stocks that the fund home right until now, Godfrey Phillips, it's in the uptrend. Second stock, Garewar High Tech, it has retraced almost 50%. Then the third company, CAMS, it has been taking support and it's been moving up. The fourth company, Camlin Fine Sciences, it has been taking a support zone, it is moving up. So all of that, what you see is the gap downs, right? From here, it has been gap down to 200 and now it has reversed in 200 because of the earnings. And you have to remember that all these small cap companies, most of the small cap companies did not really give a good return, really did well in the last quarter. It's with the overall economy is sluggish based on many factors, right? So that we comprehend as and when the market takes up the new data and new news. Most of the small companies, at least whatever I've seen in my portfolio and whatever I've looked at in the last 2 weeks, have not given outlier results. So that is also one of the reasons where the stock market has taken the hit. Most of these funds are like taken the hit. So this is the fourth company, it is trading at a support zone. So the downfall looks limited. Okay, so that is also another factor that why I'm thinking to consider this fund for myself, my own self, in my own portfolio. So this is the fourth company on the funds list. Moving on, let's look at the fifth company, Multi Commodity Exchange. MCX is the stock that I've lost 48 lakhs trading futures. What the mistake that I've done is I just went in too far when a brokerage gave a report. That is the biggest mistake that I've done until today in all my career. There was a brokerage report. It said like it is going to hit 10,000. The stock broke out here. I've chased in this candle. After that, it just fell down. It fell down. Anytime it fell down, I tried averaging. Fell down, tried averaging. But then again, I started getting margin calls after this candle. I had to exit. There is no other way. Then I lost. So even though the 48 lakhs look very high on paper, from here to here, I lost like 1,000 points on my size, right? I trade at a particular size in futures. For that size, I lost 1,000 points. So eventually when it goes back, all I need is like 1,000 points captured in MCX. So just let it go. For now, I'm trading other futures. When MCX like really finds a support, tries to move up, I'll try to capture those 5,000 points, not in one go. Maybe I'll take 300, 200, things like that, and then I'll cover. So money lost in MCX, I'll try to make it in MCX only. So that is one thing with futures. If you have margin, if you have additional margin to kick in, whatever the stock that you trade in futures, you can actually get it back. Let's suppose you lose 20 points in Havels, let's say for example. You can make 20 points in Havels slowly. So that is like you will never lose in futures if you trade the fundamentally good stocks. That is the thumb rule. People tend to trade options where Nifty goes up, Nifty comes down by 200 points, goes up in another 150 points, all in like 2 hours, losing all the money. But futures is not like that. If you trade good companies, the points lost in those companies can be recovered from those companies only. There are, of course, you need to have certain skills. That also I'll teach in my webinar. If you want to know, you can leave a WhatsApp message to the number that is pinned in the description. So that is one thing that I want to tell you. Coming back, this is another company that has been like traveling along a long trend, and then it pulled back. It has taken the support. Now it's moving up. Brokerages have upgraded the targets to an average of 9,500. It is going to pull back to this range, which is around 8,000. Move up there, and then it will go up. So that is how the chart is looking like. It will go up, right? Overall, it has been on the uptrend. There is also a positive factor for the fund, because this is the 5th largest buy holding percentage for the fund. Moving on, the next biggest holding is Jana Small Finance Bank. Okay, let's look at the technical levels again. So this is also one of the reason why the fund did not perform really well in the last 1 year. Take the last 1 year, it has not been good. So it has fallen from 750 to 460, probably about 30% loss in the stock value. Let me look at the earnings for this company, because this company have been tracking well. I look into the quarterly earnings because this was in my watch list some time back. Now that has pulled back. Let me see if it makes any sense to invest in this bank. Now what you need to understand is, this has been the actual resistance in the first leg after it came IPO, second leg when it came down last year on July exit polls, it came down to that level, close to close, and then it has taken a huge support around 460, 450. This is really important level for the stock, and based on the further fundamental news, the stock is going to move. It will move up or it will going to move down. The only good thing is, even though the stock is falling, it's not looking good on chart, right? It's not looking good. It has to move up, and if it's not moving up, it's going to move down. This is by ranking 6th stock in terms of percentage. So mostly I am assuming, even if it goes down, it will not affect the fund's performance too much. But by the naked eye, it's not looking good. Moving on, the next company is Engineers India. Let us see what it looks like in the chart. Engineers India, again, it has fallen from 250 to 190, and then now it is again not looking good. It's looking at a downtrend to this level, which is 176. Now what happens at 176? Again, the same thing. Market will look for the news, market will look for the earnings. If the earnings looks good, then it will move back again. If it doesn't, then probably the fund has to replace this with another stock, or it has to lower the, at least reduce the impact to the overall fund. So that is how the generally funds work. But then again, it's up to the fund and the asset manager. On technicals, the stock is not looking good. Moving on, the next company, Amber Enterprises. Amber, I've been trading futures. Okay. So what happened is, on the day of this one earnings, I bought in this stock and I sold at this candle after it stayed. It had some resistance, okay, around the previous high. Then I exited at a profit of 5 lakhs, not even 5 lakhs, sorry, 7.5 lakhs. I exited from here to here. There's a push. Again, my size is big, so don't only look at the 7 lakhs. My size is really, really big. I trade at 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 quantity on like anything above 5,000 rupees stock price. So it means that if the stock is like above 5,000 rupees, right, I will have 3,000, 4,000 or 5,000 quantity in number. So if it moves 300, 400 points, that is like 15 lakhs to 20 lakhs. So fall also the same. If it falls 200, 300 points, I lose the same amount of money. Anyway, coming back, I exited here. I did not find comfortable because the stock was finding stiff resistance around the exact area it hit the previous high. So I exited. Here what happened is the auditors resigned. So whenever auditors resign, it is a bad signal for the stock no matter what. Because market thinks that there is some problem with the books of the company. Maybe the company have overbooked the sales, overbooked the profit, or they have taken the loans and shown. There are companies that take the loans and they show that as the profit in their books. So that is when market panicked, and from here it just simply fell from 7,700 to 6,800 in one stretch in 2 days. Okay, now this is the company that they have in the fund, and this is like what in terms of ranking, this is the seventh biggest company. Now it depends on the market now, right? So market has consumed that news. It depends on the market news, whatever the positive market news that comes in the market, based on that the stock is going to move. But however, brokerages like usual, they have given the huge targets with their own stories. This is the yearly target. It might move like, it might not move for 6 months in a row, and then in the next 2 months it can move like 40-50% in one stretch. So these are all high beta stocks. Look here, from 5,700 to 8,000 rupees it went in 2 days, 3 days. So that is how this stock move. It is like very high volatile stock. Okay, so this is the eighth in terms of ranking in the fund. The penultimate one is Motilal Oswal Financial Services. Again, this company is into broking services. Motilal Oswal, Ramdev Agarwal, you should have been all knowing if you are like trading in stock market. Here there is a support. The stock went down and then it reversed. I don't know how much of value that the fund was able to manage, invest when it fell down. So all of that, right? All of that will make sense in the long term. So when you look at a fund, you need to look at everything. So that is what we do. I mean, like, at least I do when I look at a fund and do research. When the stock is falling, are they taking whatever the amount of money that they are taking from the investors, are they accumulating these stocks, or they are like accumulating a stock that is like not gonna go up, having a bad fundamentals. If I'm an investor, I am assume that fund manager is doing all these kind of researches. Okay, so that is up to the fund. I don't cannot say anything there. But again, if you look at this, it is again trading at close to a all-time high range, close to the previous high. If it breaks here, it is going to run in legs. This leg you see here from 500 to 700 in terms of percentage. This leg you see here from 640 to 890 in terms of percentage. That leg will be mostly running to the next targets. So that is how the market moves. So this is the penultimate company in the fund. The final company that I want to discuss today that is available in this fund is Credit Access. Credit Access Garmin. Okay, so here again stock like went up on a multi-year rally, pulled back to this level. This is all the Trump tariffs and all those things. Here there is like earning volatility. Now the earnings has been coming up good, stock has been moving up. You can see that there is a buying pressure. What you see here is absolute buying pressure. Anything that broke out, pulled back, and then it's going up from the previous support zone is heavy buying pressure, even though it is not showing up in volume. What will the institutions do when this is the breakout? They will try to short the far money futures, pull down the stock. Once it is pulled down, they will accumulate all of that in cash and let the futures go, cover the futures, the stock will fly. This is the iteration that they do all the time. Nothing can be done, right? That manipulation is always there. Anyway, it's happening in US day, night, every hour. You can see that the stocks goes up, comes down. There is huge volatility in US markets these days. Anyway, now it is trying to break out. If it breaks out to the naked high, where it should go here. Then from there, it will break out to the next levels. When it breaks out, it is going to come here. From here, it goes out to next level. So this is the naked eye approach where you can find the support and resistance. But this need not work all the time. So that is also one important thing that you need to keep in mind. Market is dynamic, market is changing. You need to be in the market, training yourself with the changes in the market. Only then you will make money, or else better seek professional help. Be it SEBI registered, be it like AMPI registered people. They will tell you what is good based on your goals. Okay. So these are all the top stock that the fund that I've shortlisted after a lot of research. If you have any questions, queries, you want to give any feedback about this video, please feel free to leave it in the comments. If you want to have any goal-based approach also, we can obviously help. We are AMFI registered to do that. Please reach out to us in the WhatsApp number that is given in the description of this video. That's all for this video. I'll wind up the video here. If you have enjoyed this video, please like the video, share with your friends if it is of any help to you. I'll meet you all again. Thanks for watching and take care.